the Evolution Security Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Brian here with Eric and Aaron as usual. How you guys doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great. It's great to be hanging out with you guys as normal.
Yeah, wonderful time. Good to see you guys.
Nice. Hey, we're going to get right at it. We're going to do a little business up front here, but we got an amazing show coming up for you. And, I usually talk about Origin and how great their products are and what I like about them. And I'm going to do that, but I do want to specifically point out that they've released a new product, the New Path Gi. Very, very cool product. And of course, you do get 10% off for using EvoSec10 on originmain.com. But the cool thing about this week is you're going to hear more about all of their products, including their new jeans and their new boots that are made right here in America, because our guest is Pete Roberts, founder of Origin. So I'm not going to talk any more about that right now because that's what we're going to spend the whole show on. But I think Eric's got something to share with you before we get to the interview.
Yeah, Brian, great discussion on Origin's products and hitting on the Path Gi. I'm pumped about that gi. You know, for the audience out there, go check that out. The Origin Wave goes from white, blue, purple, brown, black, like the path of Jiu-Jitsu. And I like the way that Jocko talked about that Jiu-Jitsu is a representation of the way. So I love that gi. I'm going to have to get me one for sure.
Nice.
With that said, let's talk about Tenacore. And this evening, I'd like to talk about their Khartoum Lux. So, a lot of holsters, if folks out there are using lights on their carry pistol, they got to have a special, specific holster for their light. Well, the Khartoum Lux has a universal compatibility. Just some of the flashlights that it works with is the Streamlight TLR7, Surefire XC1B, XC2, Enforce APL, Olight PL Mini, and more. So, I think that's pretty cool. If you guys out there need a holster that does both appendix carry and strong side carry, check that holster out. And if you use EvoSec at checkout, you'll get 10% off, that is. And I'm currently wearing my Velo 4 with my 19, so very comfortable. I've been wearing it all day working around the house. So with that said, what do you guys think? We want to get in this interview?
Well, guys, before we get into that interview, I thought it'd be fun to read one of the latest reviews we got. He says, well worth the time. Insightful information and a great group of guys. Conversations flow easily and personalities stand out, which makes for enjoyable listening. I feel like I'm being challenged yet supported in learning new things. For me anyway, he says. Well worth the listen. I started with episode 37. Intriguing for sure. Man, that's an awesome review. And what I like about that review, guys, is it kind of sums up what we're after here, which is got to kind of remind the audience that we are here, three guys that want to get better at all the things that we enjoy. And of course, a lot of that includes martial arts, shooting, and fitness, etc. But we're just regular guys that want to get better. And we started this show around that premise. And it's just awesome that people are joining along and getting what we are after without us being explicit about it all the time. So I thought that was a really cool review. And so that brings it up that, hey, when you get a chance, scroll down. If you're listening to iTunes, scroll down and give us a rating. And we always appreciate great reviews like that. So
thanks for reading that review. That also, we love to hear from our audience members. Either go see us on Instagram or Facebook at EvoSec USA, and also email us at crew@evosec.org. We'd love to hear from you. Good, bad, indifferent, no problem. We'd like to hear from you.
Yep, absolutely. Well, hey, I think we should get right into this interview, but in full disclosure, I'm going to dip out because I didn't get to be on the call, and I'm super sad, but you're going to enjoy this interview.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Pete Roberts, the CEO of Origin, to the show. How are you doing, Pete?
Very good, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm excited to be on. Thanks.
Well, I have to premise prior to my next question, like I had stated pre-show, we're more of a tactical show, but we all train in jiu-jitsu, love jiu-jitsu. It's a big part of our lives. We frankly have difficult times getting jiu-jitsu guests on here, so we're so blessed to have both our favorite jiu-jitsu manufacturer and a jiu-jitsu superstar on here. So again, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, I wouldn't say superstar. I definitely have put in some years and some salt on my black belt, but no superstar here. Just a guy who decided to make gis in his backyard. That's all.
Well, I think that's what your calling is both making gis and other U.S.-made products. So that's awesome. Well, with that said, for our audience members that may not know you, can you go ahead and give us a quick bio?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm from New England, small town in New England, and here in Maine. And I was a college athlete after college, looking for something new to try, and I found jiu-jitsu, which I got choked out by a 150-pound computer programmer. I'd say computer geek, and I didn't know what happened. And I was like, "Holy shit, I'm addicted already." One class, and so I found jiu-jitsu. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life in media, in design, and started Origin back in 2011 after the recession, which I basically lost everything except for my house. I pivoted and found kind of a new meaning in life and building Origin and bringing manufacturing back to an area that has lost it. And over the past 25 years has lost kind of that not work ethic, because the work ethic has still remained, but I'd say soul of a community, which the community had through manufacturing. So that's just a quick brief.
Now that's excellent, Pete, and we very much appreciate what you guys are doing, bringing American manufacturing back. With that said, Aaron, what you got, buddy?
Yeah, as you were talking about that, Pete, the amazing thing is when it comes to my first experience with Origin, I was in Washington with my brother there doing some training, and he had this really cool looking blue gi, and he said, "Man, check this out." And I felt that material. I thought, what the heck is this weave? This textile is incredible. And he went in to explain to me your company. And then I started looking. He said, explained that you guys were a newer American manufacturer that was doing cotton to the shipping department gis. So that intrigued me, and I looked into it. But so when it comes to bringing back some American manufacturing, I'm curious how difficult that is to do as a company when there really is turnkey situations with outsourcing, et cetera.
Well, it was difficult. It was very difficult. It was impossible, actually. A lot of people told us, it's never going to happen. And if I wasn't so naive, it wouldn't have happened. And if I had known what I was going to face from the get-go, I would have looked at an impossible task. But we did it anyways. And I'll tell you, I've got a lot of gray hair to show for it. Finding old sewing machines that had been abandoned by L.L. Bean and old looms that had been abandoned or left behind after the Chinese came and stripped all the factories here in Maine, the weaving factories, and finding the old timers that knew how to bring these machines back to life and then passing it on to the next generation. That was just the start of it, not even talking about telling the world, telling America, telling the world that, hey, we're going to make the best skis you've ever seen and ever worn, except we have no idea how to make a gi. So, it was definitely things were the difficulty was stacked against us to lose. But, we had a singleness of purpose, and we continued to have that singleness of purpose, where losing is not an option, and there's no failure. There's transitions and there's tuition payments because you're not going to learn this in school. But ultimately, we're here to win. We're here to stay, and yeah, we are the only manufacturer of jiu-jitsu gis in the United States of America. I think the closest ones to us would probably be China or Pakistan. So it's different.
Wow.
People have taken notice. I figured 3 to 5 years after we launched our first gi, someone would come and do it, and people have tried, and companies have tried and failed. I've had big companies like Adidas reach out and want to tap us to make American-made gis for them, tap that unique selling proposition, which of course we denied or turned down, I guess I could say. So it is special what we're doing here, and it was important that it happened because as consumer-based society. Yeah, with our heads down, always looking at our screens, and you're always getting bombarded with ads to shop here or shop there or buy this or buy that or download this or download that. I think we've forgotten over the years what it means to be a maker and have something handmade and hold an heirloom quality product. And then not just that, but see the people behind making that product. It's, there's no wizard behind the curtain. They're just real Americans here, real Mainers that are crafting product every single day. So that's an important story. It's the story of America. It's the story of what got us to where we are, being makers, putting our hands in the dirt, pulling whatever out we can, like cotton, or an ore, to make fabric and, or brass buttons or rivets like on our jeans. So we do it without compromise. That means the thread, that means the fabric, that means the cotton. Everything is sourced in America. So it's no place any other brand will ever go because it's just too insane. It's just too crazy. And you can't build a business around that type of statement, that customer promise. But we're doing it, and we do it every day.
Well, Pete, that's an amazing story, and frankly, I see it as patriotism. And I look at, and it's not here with me currently, but probably my favorite rash guard is your guys' "Don't Tread on Me," and I know that I understand a lot of the meaning behind that from you guys, but I just wanted to say also, you guys do make, and this isn't me blowing smoke just because we've got you on the show. It's because we chose Origin prior to even doing this show. But it's amazing the difference between an Origin gi and all others. You guys do make the best gis for darn sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We took some risk in reinventing the gi in totality, the pants, the way they should fit and function, the jacket, right down to the fiber, the way it should be blended and spun and twisted. the twist of the fiber to make it stronger. And then, of course, the weave of the product, which we weave on big 9,000-pound industrial looms in the bunker in our apparel factory. We weave this fabric for the jackets. And, it was trial and error, and we'd make something and test it and see if it worked. And they're almost too indestructible. You know what I mean? Like they're so good. And that's why I always put that word in there, heirloom quality. When you think about something that's heirloom quality, man, I think should last for forever. It should wear in, not wear out. So that's what we've been striving for. And we continually are developing. Like we have a new textile that is going to be for our pants that just has like 1% stretch, 1.5% stretch, which doesn't seem like a lot and seems like it maybe puts you at a disadvantage when somebody's grabbing the end of your pant legs. But that 1% stretch across your seat or thigh, it allows so much mobility, and it doesn't give the opponent any type of extra offense like you think it would. So, I mean, if you could imagine doing this, like trying to import this in China and send them the specs to do this, man, it'd take a year or longer by the time you finally figured it out. So there is like a speed to market opportunity for us too. Lower impact because all of our supply chain is local, East Coast or within the US. And then of course the speed to market, which gives us a super advantage. So
that's awesome.
I had one question about those looms that you brought up earlier, and that was one of the neat, commercials or your introductions to your company that I saw. I'm going to get that old large loom. Now, do you still use some of those old looms that you acquired?
We do. We still use those original looms, the two that we acquired. It's interesting. That's how Jocko found out about Origin originally too. He saw a video on YouTube with us pulling an old loom out of the Bates Mill in Lewiston, Maine. I like to tell the story. It took, I believe it was 8 guys, 9 hours to pull that loom across a floor, 100 feet across a floor that had seen 25 seasons in Maine. And that's winters and summers. And what happens to wood? It buckles and rots. It swells and expands. And it was very difficult to get that beast across the floor before we swung it out of the second story window. So we still run that loom every day, and that loom is responsible for making our fabric.
Oh, so that's how you guys got involved, was the video. Is that what you said, Pete?
Yeah, Jocko was following Origin. Must have been back in 2000. Well, he retired in 2010. So I imagine either 2011 or 12 or 13 or somewhere back then. He had found us, but it was very early on. And I think he had watched, what we were doing. And at one point, Jocko became very popular, maybe in 2016 or something like that, 15 or 16. And all of a sudden the world knew who Jocko was. And of course, Jocko, loves jiu-jitsu. It's one of his major passions in life. And so he reached out through like a live Instagram. You could do like the live on Instagram. And he said, hey, if anybody anybody knows this crazy guy Pete up in Maine, tell him I'm trying to get a hold of him. Awesome. So a nice woman, Sarah Armstrong, connected us. She called me. I think she called me first. Like, hey, I have somebody that wants to talk to you. And sometimes, 2 boys just need a kick in the ass. And so Jocko and I got on the phone on Skype actually, and we were on Skype for 4 hours. And he tells a story. We got off Skype, and his wife looked at him and said, "Jesus, sounded like you were talking to yourself." So we kind of had this immediate connection, immediate respect. I mean, he's a seasoned black belt jiu-jitsu. I'm a black belt. Anybody that achieves their black belt in jiu-jitsu, I know, has gone through the grind and
absolutely,
has something special. I talk about like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. It's this thing that you're trying to achieve. Well, the world moves around you. right? So if let's say it takes 10 years to achieve a black belt on average, the world is moving around you. Good things are happening, bad things are happening. People in your life are giving birth and having babies, whether it's sister or cousin, and folks in your life, they're dying. Your career is changing. You may make a move. You may get injured or sick, and all these things are happening around you. Life doesn't stop. And to be able to achieve a black belt, and give a decade to that art, the belt itself doesn't mean anything, but that journey it took to get there. I mean, that you've got to respect that journey, and by wearing the belt, it represents that journey. So, it's something that I think when I talk to somebody who's earned a black belt, you almost have like this extra level of respect for that person, knowing what they went through to get to that point. So it's pretty neat. Anyways, we had that mutual respect, and we just really hit it off and became friends, and had a steak and a handshake in Portland, Maine one evening. Jocko flew up, and we made a deal over a steak and a handshake, and we just moved forward.
Well, and you guys have been killing it. You guys were killing it before, but it seems like that synergy between what you guys are doing, it seems exponential.
It is. It's hard to explain. I'm never going back to like where I was during the recession, like not having control over my life, not having like direction in my life, and the defining moment of that, I wake up every day with like a fire under my ass, and an attitude that today we're going to win. Like, and I actually tell people, like, the moment that stops, the moment I wake up and I don't want to be here, like, that's the moment I'm not right for this company. You know what I mean? I hope that never happens, but I have something to prove. Jocko has something to prove. We have something to prove as a team, and what we're doing and the story behind that, it's undeniable. You can either jump in the conversation and say, yeah, what you guys are doing is undeniable, it's powerful, or you can shut up, because you can't say it's not honorable. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to come in and say, what they're doing isn't honorable. What they're doing doesn't have soul. And actually, that's what we say. Everything we do has soul. So Jocko has that same work ethic. And it's not just a work ethic. There's kind of like an intensity. There's a singleness of purpose. I guess that's the word I like to use. There's a singleness of purpose to do what we're doing, because it has a tremendous impact on people, on community, and it is revitalizing that thing that's been lost. And of course, Jocko's from New England too, so he's seen this. He's seen the same thing. So it's just the perfect storm. Ultimately, it's the perfect storm.
Well, and Pete, it is an amazing example that you just provided, and it made me think about, it's like two driven people like you and Jocko. It makes perfect sense that it would be an exponential equation. And it's such a cool thing to watch. I will digress a second. I discovered his podcast in 2016 after reading his book, he and Leif's book, Extreme Ownership, and they started talking about Origin gis, and I was pumped about it because I had already owned one of your guys' gis. And then you guys start talking about teaming up, and I was really, really pumped about that. So it's definitely cool to see what you guys are doing, and I know the sky's the limit for sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. To your point, when Jocko came on board, when we started talking, we were still in the timber frame factory out in the woods, and I think we had, I don't know, less than a dozen employees, maybe 10 people total. And when Jocko came on board, we had moved into our first new factory. We have, 4 locations now, and I think we're at 100 employees, and that's 3 years. So I mean, it's
Wow.
phenomenal
That's awesome.
growth over the past 3 years. Yeah. So.
Well, let me segue back to jiu-jitsu for a second, because you got pretty philosophical just then. So I'll kind of shape it this way then, because I was going to ask you a similar question, but I decided to kind of change it a little bit. You know, I'm still working towards my purple belt, so I know what it's like. The journey's tough, and I've got. I know that I'll get my black belt eventually, but again, it's a hard journey. But I like to see. I think of jiu-jitsu as an allegory of life. I think there's so much meaning under jiu-jitsu than just the techniques itself, and I just wanted to know what jiu-jitsu means to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think jiu-jitsu should number one ever be confused with religion, but I do hope there's jiu-jitsu in heaven. But there's but some people actually who are searching actually find jiu-jitsu and almost treat it as that. And I think there is some parallels where it is at times spiritual in nature, because all these things happening in your life, a lot of times jiu-jitsu is what frees your mind, right? So, if you're dealing with something stressful, you're not sure how to get through something, like jiu-jitsu is that thing that actually it can take those problems away if you use it as a tool. So it is a tool. Jiu-jitsu is a tool. And once you understand the principles of the tool, you can apply that to other aspects of your life, which we have done for business. That's why we move so fast. That's how we move so fast. We're always looking for the angles, making sure we have our posture and we're balanced, and, looking at cutting the corners and, and driving and continuing to move forward with forward momentum. And I use jiu-jitsu in many aspects of my life, but to me, that's what jiu-jitsu is. Ultimately, it's a tool for life, not just a sport, not just a fun thing to do, roll around with your buddies and your PJs and wrap fabric around each other's necks and mouths and, make them submit. So it's a phenomenal thing to have and to be able to practice.
Well, that's a great answer, Pete, and I'll just kind of add on a tactical aspect to that. Jiu-jitsu is crucial in the weapons-based environment. I know you know that, especially at your level. But for us, that's really the biggest, at least technical aspect that's important to us. But it is crucial for a weapons environment for sure.
I think even with that said, I would say more than physically using jiu-jitsu in a tactical situation, whether you're taking down, a criminal or an attacker or something, because those things happen so rarely. But you can apply jiu-jitsu as a mindset every single day you enter that job.
Absolutely.
And whether that's de-escalating a situation. It's funny. I know someone, I'm not going to say who, but they were big into like going to bars, and when you go to the bars, you have like the tough guys, and everybody's and I never was a person that went to bars. I just wasn't wasn't the thing I enjoyed doing. But a lot of folks, that's what they do. They go to bars, they drink a bit too much, and they eyeball the room, and am I the toughest guy here? And sometimes there's opportunity to find out. It's funny. This person said, now, if I'm sitting at the bar and I look around and someone's like eyeballing me, I just chuckle to myself, because having jiu-jitsu is like having two loaded 45s. People just don't understand, what is going on in your mind, and that they can black out and they can go crazy as much as they want. but ultimately it's like taking candy from a baby. So having jujitsu as a mindset in life is powerful. And I don't think people realize how powerful it is to have jujitsu as a mindset as you walk and progress through life. Whether you're, in law enforcement, or you're in business, or you're in another career path as a lawyer or something, like, it's a powerful tool, man. Truly, for those who have the knowledge, it is undeniable that it is powerful. And you can choose when and where to apply that. I simply wake up with the mindset, that I get from jujitsu. Like, it's you're always looking for the angles, always figuring out, am I on balance? Am I off balance? Man, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll do like a crossover shrimp to like switch sides and beds. I'll move my body certain ways. Like, it changes your whole life. It changes kind of like what you're all about, like how you function, how you think, how you move through your day. So it's powerful, man. It's a powerful tool.
On that point, we have an instructor that we enjoy working with and learning from, a guy named Paul Sharp, and I was just interacting with him online, and flat honest, I've only been at jiu-jitsu for about 3 years, but to echo what you're saying, it's not an ego thing, because I like the fact that and believe that I have a pretty healthy ego and don't have an issue, walking around checking other guys out in a bar like that. That's a very good example. But when I'm around people that kind of get close to me, all of a sudden I kind of feel like, man, I could clinch them up if I needed to. And just that simple, the control that a front clinch can offer somebody, I don't know, it just makes me feel just more comfortable in my space. And Paul reacted back and he said, it's a superpower.
Yeah, it is a superpower. And you're right on, as far as when you have jujitsu, you don't have more ego. You actually have less ego. You're more humble about those situations.
Absolutely.
And people would think it's the opposite. Oh, you know how to submit somebody, take somebody down, control somebody. You must have a big ego. It's actually the opposite, because the journey to black belt, the path to black belt, you are going to drown. Which is kind of another parallel. You're gonna drown, and you're gonna drown for 3, 6, 12 months. 2 years, 3 years, you're going to drown. And there's a decocking period, which you experience, where your athleticism, your weight, how strong you are, how much you want to win, how if you were fighting for your life, you would win. No, you're going to lose still. You're still going to go through that period where you will be humbled. And that, that happens with everybody. I don't care who you are. So, it is a superpower once you've got it.
Well, let's go into a fun topic that I always think about when I think about Origin, is the immersion camps that you guys have. Along those lines, I love going on vacation with my family, hitting the beach or going on a cruise. But I'll be flat honest, the most fun I've had on vacations in the last several years have been when I fly someplace and I spend 3 or 4 days getting my butt kicked in a great training course. And to me, the immersion camp sounds like an amazing vacation, even though really hard. But I mean, I'm going to have to hit one of those one of these days.
It is. The immersion camp is a special part of our company. Year one, it's going to be a 10-year anniversary. So,
wow.
Yeah, year one was 2011, I guess. And 2011, I think 2011, because it's 10 years, right? So, year one, we had like 20 people, and they were all like friends and teammates. And it grew over the years, and the venues changed and the venues grew. And, we have 2 sessions right now, and it's 300 people each. So it's like 600 people over the course of a week. And we bring in instructors from, all over the place, but usually a core group of instructors who have been here since day one, who are friends and business partners. And the immersion camp, I said this at our last camp. We had to cancel our camp this year because of everything going on. But I said, I looked at the room. I said, this is a true representation of America.
Nice.
If you look around, this is what America's all about. And because of jiu-jitsu, we're all united here for a common goal and a common cause. And your race and creed, nothing matters except that we're here to learn jiu-jitsu and train with each other. It doesn't matter your political affiliation, doesn't matter what color you are, what your gender is. It truly is a melting pot of America, jiu-jitsu. And, it's just phenomenal to see a group of people from all over the world in that one space with a common goal. And it's a powerful environment because we get to do it in Maine on a spring-fed lake, which is just gorgeous, with tremendous food and tremendous company. It's a blast, man. It's my favorite time of year. I mean, it's hard to explain until you've been there. Actually, Men's Health came last year, Men's Health magazine, and they did a big article on it on the immersion camp, which was pretty cool to see. But yeah, man, you're gonna have to make it up for sure.
Well, we've talked about our Evolution Security crew, the 3 of us, that we're going to make it a business trip, I believe.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah, it's
awesome.
Well, I got a comment about immersion camp. I forget how long ago it was. You may recall, we just had JP Donnell on the show a couple of episodes ago. And you guys did something really cool at immersion camp. I guess where I don't remember if it was he that challenged you to be able to sweep him, or if you just agreed to those rules. But you essentially just had to sweep him X amount of times, and it was such a cool camaraderie match. I just thought that was really cool. JP was an incredible guest, and I just wanted to comment that was a really cool thing you guys did.
JP's the man, and he's a dear friend of mine, and he's found a passion for jiu-jitsu now. Also, he's a purple belt, and he's a beast of a man. He's like a battle dwarf. The guy is like just ridiculously strong and fast and athletic, and when we put this competition together, it was just us having a little bit of fun. Proceeds being donated to Mama Lee, Mark Lee's mom.
That's
America's
right.
Mighty Warriors. Yeah. So, we put this together, and one would think that's not in the jiu-jitsu circle, right? One would think like, okay, it's going to be Pete versus JP. The person who submits the other one first wins, right? But, it's jiu-jitsu. So I've got a black belt, so I've got 2 loaded 45s, and JP's a blue belt at the time. So JP understands like, okay, I'm going to get swept at least once, right? So we had to figure out the rule set where there was something he didn't think I could do to him. And that was sweep him over my head, because he said, "You are never sweeping me over your head." and that's something I do. I sweep people over my head. Sometimes I'll just bring them up in the air and I'll look at them and smile, and I'll set them back down. But that is a challenge. But for JP, a very humble guy, to say, "You are never sweeping me over your head. Don't even try it." We had to come up with an equally difficult task. Which was basically, okay, I either sweep you over my head one time, knowing that is the thing he's going to defend. I can't submit him, right? I'm not going to submit him. He only has to defend me sweeping him over my head, or I have to sweep him 7 times, which when I sat down with Jocko and Dedeco and Alexei, we all decided that 7 sweeps was a lot of sweeps, in 10 minutes to get on somebody. That's almost a sweep a minute to get on a badass, Navy SEAL who's strong as hell and athletic, who's a blue belt, who knows jiu-jitsu to defend that. So it came right down to the last 30 seconds. I had 6 sweeps, and it was in the heat of the moment, and I went for the last sweep, and I was going to try to sweep him over my head, and he just stuffed the crap out of me and ended up winning the competition. And the place just went nuts. I mean, I've never seen Jocko so happy. You know what I mean? To see his boy, I want to, so like he wanted JP to win so bad, like so bad. I actually think if I would have won, he would have been upset. He probably would have left, but no, he was stoked, man. It was an awesome time, and for everybody there at camp to see that exchange, of friendship, and again that kind of, we're just there for the common, like, there's no egos involved. There's no egos involved in this. It's just fun, man. It's a lot of friggin' fun. So,
well, Pete, if I can comment on that, and that's why I brought that story up, is like we were talking about just prior, is, and there's probably folks have told you this before, but that situation, that little match, obviously it was for an incredible cause, but I personally felt that was way bigger than just a jiu-jitsu match. It exuded that. So, I'm not trying to be embellish. Just sincerely, I think that it just has such a bigger meaning. I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, and I think there's also probably, making yourself vulnerable too, and people seeing that. There's this, second degree black belt, and I'm going to compete against a blue belt. Like I no factor for me. I don't care. I mean, I train with my guys every day. I've got some stellar white belts, some awesome blue belts, some killer purple belts, and then everybody else, they're just murdering fools. So you know what I mean? Like, to show 300 people that session, that you can all watch me I'm going to expose myself to you, and we're just going to do this because why not? Because there should be no ego in this, why not? So when you're here and you're meeting new people and you're on the mats and you're exchanging, technique and sweat, like, don't bring anything on the mats that doesn't belong. So, yeah, I think you're right on that, the bigger meaning side of things.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Glad we got to talk about that immersion camp. Again, we're going to have to make it out
we'll be there for sure
one of these days. So we actually, I think Eric mentioned as we were setting up the show that we like to think of our show as, it's definitely primarily a tactical and self-defense show, but we talk about a lot of stuff from being passionate about education in any area that would enrich your life, all the way to music and philosophy, etc. But again, we talk a lot about shooting and firearms. So we were just curious if you train in firearms at all.
I mean, I grew up shooting. My dad shot expert in the Marines, and so he when I was 10 years old, I had my first lever action 30-30, which I learned how to shoot with. And then in Maine, of course, hunting is a big part of the way of life here. And although I don't get to hunt much anymore, I do know myself a way around, a firearm. So, as far as like tactical training, I don't do any tactical training for like, protection. All my kids know how to use shotguns, rifles, ARs, which, we all have. My son has his own gun cabinet in his room. He's had it in his room since he was 12 years old. You know what I mean? We've taught we've taught our kids, the tool like jujitsu. Guns are a
Yes.
tool. You hand a 9-year-old a knife and tell him to use it. He's going to end up cutting his fingers. And it's the same thing when it comes to firearms. You have to train them when they're younger. Hey, this is a tool. Just like you take a class to drive a car, to do anything in life, you've got to go through a learning process. You're not just gonna jump in a car and take off, not having learned how to drive. And what road signs mean and all that stuff. So I'm actually going for my pilot's license right now. It's the same thing. It's actually the hardest thing I've ever learned is trying to fly an airplane. And that's going to take months and months and months. So, I think training in firearms is extremely important, except for, especially for new gun owners. So, but as far as like going out, like I'll shoot on a range and stuff like that, but not any like tactical, busting down doors and working my way with a team around buildings.
We specifically just mean. I mean, you're nailing it. Your family sounds like you have at least a respect and you take advantage of the Second Amendment in keeping your arms and bearing if you choose to do that. So that's awesome. That's exactly what we're after. And it's just funny how you brought up flying. And our other host, Brian, is working on his pilot license and actually just bought a plane recently.
Nice.
But that is what we're talking about on this show. We try to make sure we bring that stuff out. So when we talk to Pete Roberts, we don't just talk about jiu-jitsu and gis. Let's talk about that stuff that you're learning about too. So that's super cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and frankly, we have actually one of our most popular segments of our show is after our guest, we close out with the guest. We have accountability, what we did for the week to get better at whatever it is. Usually it includes jiu-jitsu, working out, range visit, dry fire, all that. But Brian was beating up on himself because he was having difficulty meeting our typical triad of accountability. And I told him over there, it's like, bro, you're learning to fly, man. That's absolutely accountability. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that said, as far as can we move back to origin for a quick second? Well, it doesn't have to be a second per se. Is there any, maybe one or two products that you're most excited about currently?
Yeah, I mean, we have two divisions of the company. There's Origin, and then there's the brand Origin. And then we have a nutritional division, which is called Jocko Fuel.
Yeah.
So I would say that on the Origin side of things, I would say our denim jeans and our footwear, our boots are like the things I'm most excited about. I think they're going to springboard us into the future. I think that's what America is going to know us for, because 298 million Americans own a pair of jeans. So like jiu-jitsu, denim represents freedom. And it's like the one thing that unites humanity, regardless of who you are, where you are, at what time you lived. When you put a pair of denim blue jeans on, you're putting them on because you feel free. So it's very in line with who we are as a company. And of course, footwear. Maine has been known for making the world's best footwear forever. From Bass shoe to New Balance shoe to Dexter shoe to many others. Footwear is near and dear to us. So we're excited about those two products, which we are making from scratch here in Maine in our two different factories. And then on the nutritional side, we're really stoked about the progression of our clean or real energy drink Go. So we've always been really opposed to energy drinks. I mean, my kids, I've never let them drink energy drinks. I've never drank energy drinks, and when we looked at that market, we just saw a lot of poison being proposed to consumers. So we disguised our energy drink, our nootropic energy drink. It's actually a supplement. We've disguised it as an energy drink. It does have some caffeine in it, but it's got a lot of really good stuff in it too. So we just went into 220 Wawa stores, and we're about to do a chain-wide rollout. We're in Vitamin Shop with those, and we're making some headway on some major national accounts. So that is exploding.
Awesome. Well, listen to this.
You're drinking one.
I just drank one about an hour ago. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we love that too. That's one of the things we've gotten hooked on between the three of us too. So that's fun. We get to talk about.
Awesome.
This was the Afterburner Orange.
Yeah,
I think that might be my favorite. Don't tell JP that.
I haven't.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I haven't had that one yet myself.
It's good.
I definitely, at least right now, my favorite is the sour apple sniper. But
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
too.
it's good. And let me add to the discussion on the supplements. We all use the Origin Lab Jocko Fuel supplements religiously. They are excellent supplements, and we all
Awesome.
love them. I mean, it's the Mulk. When I get hungry, I hit the Mulk, and it allows me to keep from eating something stupid. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, we love 'em.
Well, and Eric, we need to tell Pete about the fact that we have partnered in the new markets side of Origin, and we definitely promote your stuff at the beginning of the show, and we've got a discount code that we give out to our listeners too. So we're pretty excited to be involved at that level too.
Awesome. That's incredible, guys. We appreciate the support.
Yeah, a little Evo Sec 10 will get you 10% off. So we appreciate that for sure.
Well, Pete, I love to premise this because I believe this is the most important question we have on the show, and that is, what are your 3 favorite bands and or favorite musical artists?
So I will give you each 3 chances to guess one. And if either of you get one, I'm going to send you a freebie.
Oh, my God.
Oh, shoot.
Boy, didn't Pete just totally turn this on?
I did. That's Jiu-Jitsu.
Man,
I was in mount, and I just went to deep half, and I'm about to sweep. So,
man, that's a tough one, Pete.
My temperature just rose. Man, that's a challenge. So what are the rules, Pete?
So you each get 3 chances to secure one of my favorite bands or musicians. I have 3 here, and I'm going to give you each 3 chances just to name one.
Okay.
And so that should tell you that I'm an outlier.
No, that's awesome. Oh, shoot. Yeah. So
Aaron,
it's not
I'll
gonna
try
be
one.
easy. You go ahead.
The Ramones, maybe?
No, but that's a good guess.
I tried. That popped in my head. And I'm sitting there thinking, because we're a big fan, I think about podcasts. I'm just thinking back in my head, did I ever hear him talk? But go ahead, Aaron. You got one?
Because you're saying you're an outlier. That kind of makes it difficult for me, but I'm going to throw an old one out there from the old skateboarding days, the Dead Kennedys.
Nope, that's on the list.
Oh, man.
And I'm not a heavy metal guy.
You're not a heavy metal guy?
I'm not a heavy metal.
Okay.
No, as a matter of fact, let me give you a hint. One day Jocko called and I had some music on and I was designing some stuff. And he's like, "Bro, what are you listening to? Enya?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm listening to Enya." And I thought it was funny that he knew what I was listening to. So
Okay.
I got so much shit happening in my brain 24/7. The last thing I need is a lot more noise that doesn't make sense.
Well, what's awesome is that I have a pretty wide swath of music that I'm into, and a lot of it is laid back because I don't need any more loud guitar in my life at some point in the day. So Eric, you go with a guess, and then I've got one.
Yeah, I definitely. This is actually really cool, Pete. You definitely used your black belt in jiu-jitsu to turn the tables, and I think our audience is gonna dig it. Man, so I'm a metalhead myself, so I start thinking one-dimensional sometimes.
Sure.
But I'm just gonna throw one out there because I'm coming up with a blank. But how about Johnny Cash?
Oh man, he's in my top 5, but he's not in my top 3.
I was close.
You were so close, so close.
So Pete, that means that I elevated you, but I didn't get the sweep.
Yeah, I led you to what you thought you were going to get for a sweep, and I passed your guard.
Awesome. Okay, I'm starting to. Man, I'm about ready to go through my list. I'm going to throw a couple out there, but how about Tori Amos?
No, not Tori Amos, but I do like her, but she's not on the list.
Okay. Eric, you're up, bro.
One more each. This is for a free gi.
Man, gosh, and I'm looking at those new path gis. God,
yeah, man, you need one of those keys.
Oh man, so it's like, dang it, this is tough, but I'm digging it, regardless if we get any of them. All right, I'm just gonna throw one out there that's liked by a lot of people. How about U2, maybe?
Oh man, and that's my other top 5. Yep.
Okay, I'm literally getting some stimulus looking at my list on my phone here, but I'm going to throw one more out there that could sound maybe like Enya on the right day, which would be Sarah McLachlan.
No, but I do like Sarah McLachlan. Oh, you both did not. You did. Yeah. No, it's okay. So I'll give you my top 3.
Awesome.
REM.
Oh my. Okay.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Awesome.
And I actually really like Bon Iver also.
Yeah, I tapped out a long time ago. I would have never guessed those.
Yeah.
Very cool. That was fun. That was a legit mind game there. You know, that a nice jiu-jitsu trick there for sure. Very cool.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Awesome.
Well, Aaron, I think we're getting close to the end of the show, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Pete, man, this has been a blast, and there's been some really cool, deeper conversations about jiu-jitsu and your company, and man, it's been surprising to me. I knew we would have a great conversation, but man, you just kicked it up a major notch. So man, just appreciate it. Appreciate your company. Appreciate the concept of 1776 being woven into a lot of your rash guards. And, you know, man, just thank you for being a patriot and bringing American manufacturing back, because you guys do, right? You build to work and it's made for life.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. This has been a lot of fun. And you guys stay clear and stay safe, and keep your heads up. And remember, I got to tell my team this: you still live in the United States of America. This is still a free country.
Absolutely, definitely.
Amen.
Thank you, Pete. And we again, I'll say from my end, cannot thank you enough for your support. It's been an incredible show. You have a great day. Okay.
Absolutely appreciate it, fellas. Thank you.
Well, guys, it is that time for accountability. And if you guys don't mind, I'll go ahead and kick it off. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Well, so I was able to get to 2 classes at Gracie's Tulsa here. I usually like to get 3 in, but I don't know if you guys remember from last year, this is my busy season. not only am I doing a lot of gigs, but lucky me, I got handed some people's jobs after, unfortunately, some people left my company. So it seems like my workload has doubled. So, but no complaining about that. I'm thankful I have a job, and I do enjoy my job. So, but yeah, it's cut down on my jits a little bit. But again, glad to make it 2 times. And I did make one pretty good cardio workout. Me and my wife like to go to the gym on Monday and work out together. I'm glad we got to do that. And then got a couple of walks through the neighborhood. We usually hit about 1.5 miles around the neighborhood, keeping up with that. And when it comes to the good thing about working at home is when you need a little brain break, you can do a quick exercise or something. So throughout the day, I'll hit some squats, I'll hit some crunches or some leg lifts, and every now and then I'll pick up my pistol and I'll dry fire, for just a couple minutes. But that brings me up to the fact about dry fire. I'll have to admit, guys, I only had one serious session of dry fire this week. Again, just so busy. That was one of the things that fell off. I'm glad I got that one session in, but I need to step that up. Now, on to the range. I was able to get a 50-yard bay this time. I went last weekend and was stoked to do that because I got to do the modified Navy qual that Eric prescribed. And, man, I had a blast doing it. I can tell you, I need to work on my carbine quite a bit more. But so when I got out there, I set it up and I dry fired it 3 or 4 times. And knew right off the bat that I was going to have to really pay attention to my reloads and get into position. But, so that definitely the reloads and the positioning were what slowed me down a bit. But funny thing, I only have one magazine patch, so I went and got all Bubba Tactical and reloaded with one of my PMags in my front pocket.
Hey, that's legit, man. Sometimes you're going to be loading from that pocket.
Yes, sir. Well, so long story short, I hit that, and I was over par each time. I'm just going to lay it out here. My times were between 43 and 46 seconds. Now, nonetheless, I just have to stress it was a blast doing it. I hadn't done carbine work in a while. So, but I did it 3 times. My best score was 33.02, and all of my scores were under the 40 to pass, but I definitely want to do it better next time. And one thing I have to bring up, and Eric kind of gave me a hard time about this, I had my 14.5 carbine with my Vortex 1-6, and I kept that puppy on 1X. And at our age and my eyes right now, boy, my reticle even was a little bit big within that 8-inch circle at 50 yards. So probably next time, but the point was, I thought, well, Eric and Brian will probably be running dots, so I don't want to feel like I'm cheating here. But next time I head out there, I'm going to crank that up to 3 times and 3X and see how I do.
Well, Aaron, if I can comment about that, man, that's just a part of getting older, man. I know that I'm to the point where, like when I was a soldier and shooting with iron sights or a red dot, I did much better back then on these types of drills when I could see well. So frankly, I've reserved to the fact that I'm probably going to go optics myself and take a little advantage and kind of negate some of my vision issues. So man, don't feel bad about that at all. That's my plan.
Yeah, well, I felt better about, especially that you kind of gave me a hard time about it. But yeah, I'm gonna use that next time to my advantage. But speaking of optics, I'm putting together an optics pistol too. I can give an update on that here pretty soon. But other than that, who wants to go next?
Well, I'll pick it up. And good work, man. That's I know you always you tend to beat yourself up a little on some of that stuff, but you're still getting it done, man.
Well, thank you.
So I I put in a little extra time this week. I did 3 CrossFit workouts and 1 barbell workout. So I got 4 early morning workouts in, and like I was just telling these guys, we're recording this on a Friday night, and I left the house at 10 minutes to 5, and I got home at about 10 minutes to 8. So, you know, I got a full day, but I'm getting after it with the work, and that stuff really pays dividends. You know, I'm really seeing the change, and we've been talking about some of the things that we do and how they shape our bodies and our lives and our lifestyles. And one of the things that I ran across this week was people talking about motivation, and you know, motivation isn't going to show up. Action will create motivation. Showing up and doing a workout will make you want to do another workout. You cannot wait for motivation to come, because it won't. It's something that's created by you taking action. So just a little reminder for folks out there that might be struggling with getting some of their physical stuff going. It's just go do it. Just start, and it doesn't matter what. Like Jocko says, the best time to start is now. So
yeah, and Brian, if
just even
sorry, buddy,
go ahead.
I was just going to comment that speaking of Jocko, he also has the saying, "Just go through the motions," and what he means by that is when you don't feel like it, if you just simply go through the motions, you'll get your workout done. And every time I and it doesn't happen too often, I'm usually glad to get my workout done. But there are times where I feel like, oh man, I'm worn the heck out. I didn't get much sleep. But then I get up anyway and I go through the motions. But then all of a sudden I get a kick-ass workout in, because by the time I'm into the workout, I'm ready to get it done and I'm having a good time at that point. But anyway, I just wanted to comment further on that.
Oh, absolutely. And that is the truth. Just go do it. And, you know, I know it's hard for some folks with restrictions and stuff are out here in Washington. It just went from bad to worse. We're completely locked down again until sometime in January. So, you know, the Jiu-Jitsu gym had just reopened, and I was making plans to get in there, and they shut her down again. So fortunately, I have access to a gym facility that is not open and operational, but I am able to work out. And that's, you know, one of those things that keep working out, even if it's from home, you know. But
yeah, I've been seeing what you've been doing, Brian. You've been getting after it, man. You've been sending us videos, man. I dig that, brother.
Yeah. I'm trying to play it low because you know, a lot of people don't have access to that facility, and it is fortunate that I do. But it's a bummer, because I'd rather work out in a class of a dozen people, and it's been me by myself, because that's all we're able to do right now. So, but I'll move into well, I guess I'll talk a little bit about flying, because I'm just bummed I didn't get to talk to Pete about flying.
I know, man.
We were thinking of you, buddy, when he went into that.
I am getting ready to. I've done. I'm getting out at least once a week in the plane. It is tougher in the wintertime because the daylight is so short. In the weekdays, I don't really ever get a chance to fly. But did a lap around Mount St. Helens last weekend, which was spectacular.
Man.
Took a friend up with me, and she had just had a spectacular time. And getting ready to do my annual here in the end of January, just 5-6 weeks out, and going to be upgrading my avionics. So that's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then
for the lay person,
shooting,
that's the electronics in your plane, right?
Yeah, the instruments and guidance system. I'm not going full IFR, but I won't explain all their acronyms. People that know.
That's cool.
I'm getting 2 AV30s from Uveonics, and their one will replace my attitude indicator, and one will replace my DG, and they have a lot of other functions. So it's virtually going to a glass panel. So for a very reasonable cost.
Awesome.
But
Hey, Eric, how much
cool.
you want to bet he can quote half the manual right now?
Oh, I bet. Knowing Brian, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm still not looking forward to my oral, but it's okay. But I did get to shoot that Navy qual as well, and just like you, Aaron, I was in the low 40s for time. I did manage to shoot it clean on one round, but I definitely have work to do on some of those mag changes and stuff, because even though I've shot 3-gun, you know what? I ain't done it in a while, and all those skills perish.
Yeah.
I knew where to put my fingers. I knew where to get my mag, but I took more time to get the shots off than I should have, and that was proven by the fact that I shot it clean. And I took more time than necessary to reload and gain position. But I did run my optic on, it was either 3 or 4 power. I had it turned up.
Yeah. What are you running? I was
definitely.
curious.
So I'm running a Trigicon 1-4. This is the older model. The 1-6s are out now, and of course most places have 1-8. But the Trigicon 1-4, and I love that optic. It's it's got a green chevron on top of a post, so that chevron's nicely illuminated. But it's just sharp.
So what's that? An ACOG or?
No, it's a AccuPoint.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's cool. It's actually an AccuPoint. So it is adjustable magnification.
Got it.
The ACOGs are all fixed.
Okay. Yeah. No, but
so it definitely, it's a scope, but it has that same type of chevron that the ACOGs do. Yeah.
Cool.
And it is tritium with no light, and it does have a light bar for illumination in daytime, which is very nice. So it's bright, easy to see, no eye strain, very long eye relief. It's a beautiful optic.
Cool.
But it sure makes a difference, because although I can shoot fairly well at 1 power at those distances, it definitely does, like you say, with these older eyes, it makes a big difference. So, again, the score was good, but the time definitely needs some work. So that was pretty cool, and I felt okay about it. I was a litI bummed that I wasn't faster. But,
well, Brian, the way I calculated your best score, you shot the best out of the three of us, which I think you came in at 26 for your points. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Right. I was just over the par.
Oh yeah.
I know.
I calculate.
It's all
Bro, I'm with you, man. No, you did well, man, and I think that your score proves that taking the time to make the hits actually is more important.
That's true. That's true.
And ammo's a premium right now, but I didn't want to spend 40 minutes, pushing myself on that either. There's time for that. There's time to get faster. But like you were saying, we haven't been prescribing rifle drills, and I haven't really been shooting a lot of rifle drills. So I've been doing some accuracy work and some long gun work, but and I did get out and get to shoot some 600 since our last show as well, and that was nice because I was working with rifles that were pre-sighted, but went out and proofed them, and it was pretty cool to hit a about a 24-inch plate at 600 cold bore.
Nice.
With no prep,
rock
just boom,
on.
And that just love the fact that rifle shoots as well as it does. So, anyhow, that's enough out of me. What do you got, Eric?
Well, I have to say, guys, my accountability this week is pretty abysmal. I think, of course, you guys know I'm currently moving to North Carolina to Fort Bragg. One little shout out to my son Nick, who the audience members likely know that he's a Marine stationed at Camp Lejeune. So soon I will be close to my son, and
that's awesome.
One of my top jiu-jitsu partners, my son, I'll be able to train with him again and again do some shooting, and Nick is also an ECQC alum, so I can work some of that stuff with him as well. But more to the point is that he and his new wife are about to have our grandchild, a grandson. So we're super excited about that.
Awesome.
So
I didn't know you could get older overnight.
Exactly.
He got older on this podcast.
Oh, man. Grandpa Eric.
That's right, man. I am going to be a grandpa. It's crazy.
Paw. Oh, man.
So anyway, my accountability, I only had one workout this week, and it was all body weight. That's the way it shook out because everything getting packed up, all my weights and my bar. But I did get a pretty damn good workout. So did a lot of handstands. I'm trying to get those handstand push-ups. I can do about one right now. It's extremely hard.
I can do half of one, the part where you come down.
Yeah, exactly. I do more of those than I can even do the one. But so a lot of that and a lot of burpees and whatnot. So I had also only one dry fire session, Aaron. So you and I are again twins in that sense. But I did get a good session in. As far as the drill, again, Brian and I are always blessed when we get to shoot the drill together. And it was kind of a lot going on, so I'd like to have focused a little more on the drill. But we were doing a lot out there that evening. Had Ryan and one of Brian's buddies out there, so we were running everybody through that and some other drills. But so I shot the drill too fast. I shot it under 25 seconds under par, but man, I dropped a lot of points. I don't even count it. It was that bad. The second time I ran it in 20 seconds, and I had 5 shots just below the 8-inch circle. That was a little irritating, but so with those misses, I had a score of 29. So I still passed, but again, I purposely prescribed this drill because, again, we're so pistol focused. I want to start bringing in a carbine because, let's face it, guys, carbine is one of our most important defensive tools, and we need to
100%.
Yeah, I mean, if I can grab my rifle for a defensive situation, I'm gonna do it. So we need to continue to work on our carbine more. So
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
so with no jiu-jitsu, thanks to the High Chancellor Inslee, I did not get any jiu-jitsu this week, and unfortunately couldn't get a workout in with Ryan this week either. So that's just the way it shook out. With the move, man, trying to get so much done, getting ready. I mean, my wife and I are working all day long, it seems like, every single day this week. So no big deal. We'll get to North Carolina, and I'll be hitting the jiu-jitsu gym that I've got a plan to join there as soon as I can. So with that said, again, we're going to keep some carbine going. So,
Well, hey, but before you go into the new drill, I just have to double down, I guess, using one of your phrases, Eric, that, man, I don't care exactly how I did on that drill. I know I did fine, but the fact is that no matter how I did, dude, it was a blast. I just have not shot carbine other than kind of just, almost plinking, right? Just to shoot my new AR pistol recently, but doing this drill, it was fun. So, man, I had a blast doing it. Just had to say that.
Well, since you're double dipping on it, I got it as well. You remember when we started doing pistol drills and doing accountability, and we started talking about it, and after about 5 or 6 weeks, I admitted that I'd been shooting my STI race gun.
Yes.
Yeah, I was shooting my 3-gun carbine. I mean, it's still a carbine, but I'm shooting my competition gun.
oh, so you're saying
a couple of the guys we were shooting the drill with were kind of like, hey.
Oh, I thought nothing
I'm
of it,
shooting
brother.
a plain chain rifle.
And then here's Aaron with his early onset cataracts trying to do it at one power to not cheat. Awesome.
Yeah.
But listen to you having some integrity there and laying it all out.
Isn't it funny though?
No, and I really think
go ahead, Brian.
the only advantage is a very short reset trigger and a very effective compensator on the barrel. That's probably the only real advantage.
Yeah, just razzing.
That's
fun though.
The other $2,000 worth of investment in that rifle had nothing to do with it.
Oh, damn.
Other.
What's the total, man? If you want to say over the air.
Oh, well, fortunately, I was a dealer when I put that together because it's mega receivers and a monolithic upper and a pretty spendy barrel. There's probably 3,500 invested in that rifle.
Dang. Is yours red or blue or green?
Oh no, tactical black for me.
Thank you. Sorry, all you three gunners out there with your colorful ARs, but it's I'll stick with if I have another color, I don't mind gray or maybe a little tan or something. But yeah, man, the colorful ARs, man.
Yeah, I like to call it midnight camo.
Nice.
All right, we're going off the rails here.
No, this
so
is
Eric,
fun,
once you get to,
I dig it, man. So
it's all good. That's why we're here.
Exactly, to hang out and have fun. So this drill is 3 different stages. It's pretty easy to set up, and there you'll notice a theme. I'm choosing 50 and in for a reason. Number one, that's what most folks can at least get as far as distance goes, and civilians. We're focusing on civilians. That's a decent, facsimile of what we may be facing out there. So I chose several portions of the Valor Ridge rifle standards again. I'll just try to enumerate it real quick. It's not too difficult. I'll also have every bit of this in the show notes. But so string 1 is standing to kneeling at 50 yards, 2 rounds from kneeling, and 2 rounds from prone in 15 seconds. String 2 is at 25 yards from a standing low ready, 6 rounds to the body in 10 seconds. String 3 is 15 yards from a low ready, 1 round to the head, except we do this 5 times. And each time you have a 3-second par. And for the last string is at 7 yards, 2 rounds to the body in 1.5 seconds. And you have to do this 3 times. So if my math is correct, it's a 21 round drill. So, essentially you could have 1 round plus a box of ammo and get through this if that's all you got. So what do you guys think?
Man, that sounds fun. Look forward to it.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. I like pushing the more rounds forced on first shot from off target so that you're getting that repetition in there.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, Brian. You must have been reading my mind. That's precisely why I chose these particular drills. So, yeah, I think we can enjoy this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for bringing those up, Eric.
Yeah, no problem. Well, guys, what do you think? I think that's about it for the show.
Hey, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun and an amazing interview with Pete Roberts. Shout out to him for giving us some support and coming on the show. We just have to give all of our guests a shout out. The people that come on this show, they're showing us some support, and it really helps us. And it's a blast for us to get to talk to these people. So,
yeah, and definitely go. I know we talk about it every week, but Pete was so gracious to come on and grace us with his presence. Go check out Origin. they are doing something that matters, and they are doing it here in America. So it's a big deal, man.
Very big
Huge.
deal.
Cool.
Well, guys.
All right, guys.
Till next time.
Take care,
Good night.
guys.